You're listening to a Slice of Life Hour here on 938 Live. I'm Eugene Lowe, and my guest today is Jean-Francois Cousin, who is a global executive coach, and he works across many different organizations and industries, coaching senior leaders and executives in developing their leadership, strategic planning, career orientation, motivation, and work-life balance. And he is in Singapore to run a workshop as well, which he'll be telling us more about later on. But today we're really talking about how you as a manager can increase your own motivation and reignite or re-energize your workers as well. And Jean-Francois says companies spend fortunes to raise employees' motivation through awfully complex systems. But Jean-Francois today is proposing that it is rather simple, actually. There are some simple steps or some simple methods you can use to almost instantly increase your employees' motivation, and we went through some of them earlier: carrying and really showing it, listening to your employees, empowering them, allowing them to assume more responsibility, and very importantly, allowing them to fail and to learn from their mistake. That creates a very healthy learning environment in your workplace. And this next point is something that managers should think about as well, something that most people don't think about, because as managers you think you have to be there, you have to be hands-on, you have to micromanage. But this is a radical thought from you, Jean-Francois.
Absolutely. The biggest demotivation for employees are when their boss micromanages. It's because it's not respectful, it's denying their freedom, it's not fair, it's not giving them a chance to grow, it's devaluing them mentally and really, actually. So the micromanaging is not only a proof of incompetence, immaturity as a manager, but it's also demotivating people. So managers go nowhere with micromanagement. There is a fantastic story about Karajan, who is the most famous, the superstar amongst orchestra conductors in the 20th century. He's the only one in that profession where they have nice suits but they are poor. That was a multi-millionaire. He got castles, yachts, and all that. And he started on the wrong foot. He started actually as a micromanaging conductor, and things were not going well. And one day he decided to learn how to ride a horse, and that was okay until one day his trainer told him, tomorrow we're gonna learn how to jump over obstacles with a horse. And Karajan was sensitive, and he couldn't sleep the night before. He was terrified. How can I lift this huge mass over an obstacle, he thought, in his controlling approach. And he went to the training the next day. Anyway, with the horse started to move towards the obstacle. This Karajan was paralyzed, petrified with fear, and then the horse started to run towards the obstacle. Then what happened? What do you think?
As a micromanager, as a control freak, I suppose he would be trying to pull the reins, I suppose.
Yeah, well, he was not even able to do that because he was petrified. So he did nothing. The horse jumped, and that was an epiphany for Karajan, because he thought, oh my God, even I do nothing, the horse jumps. And then, of course, that's because the horse wants to jump. So the horse does not want to fail or to avoid the obstacle. He loves to do it. And then he thought, that's the same with my musicians, actually. They come to play as an orchestra. They want to do something beautiful. They want to do good. And I've been micromanaging them, stopping them every second when we rehearse, and I gave them hell, basically. And why don't I try and let them go? Let them do all by themselves. So he did that. And right away, musicians produced absolute beauty, way beyond what they had produced for him when he was micromanaging. And he said, wow, that changed my job conception forever. I thought, now my job, they do 97 perfect. I just have to manage the 2-3% to perfection. And he became an absolutely empowering conductor with minimum gestures, all about letting go of the orchestra so they can play together, listen well to each other, play as one. And that made him reach the heaven, have a pinnacle of music, really. So all letting go. I really suggest to managers, try it. So you do a good thing to your people, and importantly too, you do a good things to your career. I coach senior leaders and executives. There is no perfectionist and no micromanagers at that level. It's simply logically impossible to get there.
So as a manager, you should have, first of all, you have to instill that faith in your employees, giving them the confidence to do their best. And then, like you said, let go and allow them to do their work. Because, I mean, these are people that you have hired. Obviously, you know that they are competent. They can do the job. And what you as a manager should be really focusing on is just simply energizing them, motivating them, galvanizing their faith in their abilities, and just letting them do the best they can.
Absolutely. And not rescuing them too often. Instead of rescuing them when they have a trouble, be an observer and share what you are observing as a manager. For example, you tell your employee, hey, I see you struggle with priorities and time management here. Let's look at this together. What do you have to say about that? Where it could come from? Be an observer, not a rescuer, as much as possible.
Okay. And before we end the show, I'd like you to share your soul contribution, your slice of life contribution.
Yeah, I just had on my Facebook page a friend post something very nice about a nurse who worked in palliative care with patients who were about to die, and she collected their thoughts and their regrets, and she found out that basically those people nearing the end of their life had in common 5 regrets. And the first one is, I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. And then 2, I wish I did not work so hard. And 3, I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings. And 4, I wish I'd stayed in touch with my friends. And 5, I wish that I had let myself be happier. And I thought, wow, let's make sure we get the message, and that will raise our motivation to the next level for sure.
All right, thank you very much for that, Jean-Francois. And you're in town to conduct a workshop. Just tell us a bit about that and how people can find out more information.
Oh, sure. Thanks, Eugene, for the opportunity. That happens tomorrow at the French Chamber of Commerce on Orchard Road. It's about gearing senior leaders or managers with highly impactful communication skills. So we'll work on how to communicate and present effectively to big audience or to high-level audiences, and we'll do some video exercise so that participants get confidence that they can present powerfully, get buying for what they want to present, and that should be great fun. So at the French Chamber of Commerce, it's in Lyot Tower, just above the Hammer store on Orchard Road.
All right.
And it starts at 8:30.
Okay, thank you very much, Jean-Francois, for coming in today. Merci.
Merci beaucoup. Thanks so much.
And I've been chatting with Jean-Francois Cousin, and who is a global executive coach. You can get more information on Jean-Francois over at 12win.net. It's 1-2-win.net. If you have something to share with me as well on the show, do get in touch with me via email. It's eugene@mediacorp.com.sg. I'm Eugene Lowe. This has been a Slice of Life Hour here on 938 Live. Thank you so much for joining me.